In this video, we will look at a method for solving a quadratic equation, and that method is going to be by factoring and using what we call the zero product property. So let's look at our 3 steps. Our first step says to get 0 on one side of the equation. That means we want to write our equation in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So let's go ahead and let's start, let's go through the 3 steps, then we'll look at each step as it happens in action. Okay, so after we get 0 on one side, then what we want to do is we want to factor the trinomial completely. And then in step 3, we're going to set each factor equal to 0 and solve. Now, there's a question there. Why do we set each factor equal to 0? Well, we do that because we want to utilize something called the zero product property. The zero product property tells me that if I have a number a or a quantity a multiplied by another quantity b, and if the product is equal to 0, then it means one of the 2 factors of my product has to be 0. Think about it. If I tell you I multiplied 2 numbers and the answer was 0, that means at least one of those numbers has to be 0. So the zero product property tells me that either A is equal to 0 or B is equal to 0. So that's the property we're going to use to solve this equation. So let's start by getting the equation in standard form. So I want it to look like ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So I need to subtract 2x from both sides of the equation, and I also need to subtract 15 from both sides of the equation. After I do that, I will have 0 on the left side of my equation and the trinomial x squared minus 2x minus 15 on the right side. That is step 1 completed. I got 0 on one side of my equation. Now I want to factor the trinomial x squared minus 2x minus 15. So I need 2 numbers that multiply to negative 15 that add up to negative 2. So those numbers are negative 5 and positive 3. So my factored form is x minus 5, the binomial x minus 5 times the binomial x plus 3, and that is equal to 0. Now I can utilize the zero product property. So either the binomial x minus 5 is equal to 0, or the binomial x plus 3 is equal to 0. So after I factored it, that was step 2. Now I'm on step 3 where I'm setting each factor equal to 0 and solving. Well, guess what? Now we just have 2 little linear equations. So in the first equation, I just have to add 5 to both sides, so x equals 5. Or in the second equation, I subtract 3 from both sides, and x equals negative 3. So there's 2 ways I can write my solution set, because now I have 2 solutions for x, so it's now a set of more than one number. So I say the solution set for x contains the numbers negative 3 or 5, or I can just write it out, x equals negative 3 or x equals 5. So I can write my solutions either way. But keep in mind, I have 2 solutions, and they are x equals negative 3 or x equals 5.